Well, AOC, the verdict's in. Um, Unfortunately, even your own people, i.e., the Democrats, think you did a terrible job. I've seen her do the response video, and the whole video, most of it, she just started talking about how bad Trump was at answering the same questions he was asked. And I'm like, but Trump wasn't there. And usually when Trump answers questions, he's pretty direct. And he's Trump doesn't do that politician thing, does he? He just says things. So when she said, I was like, huh? And she tried to argue that her answer saying that we need to stop it before it gets to that point was a good answer. And it was informed. And she was really, and it looked like, I wouldn't say people saying it looked like she was crying. She wasn't crying. She just, I don't know what was going to sound like she was sick. It sounded like she had the flu or a cold or something. People saying she's crying. I think they just taking liberties. Artistic creativity on that one. I am just, I'm actually surprised the Democrats actually looked at something and gave a honest take on it. In general, most of the Democrats, even the most wokety woke purple blue hairs, even said, yeah, that wasn't a good look. It wasn't a good look. Though they did ask Trump, being that she brought him up so much, and they did ask Trump, what would you do in that situation if China was invading Taiwan? He's like, I wouldn't have answered the question because why would you reveal your next move from a military perspective to the enemy? He said, oh, now I'm paraphrasing. That's essentially what he said. And I was like, yeah, he's got a point. The element of surprise is crucial in military decisions and how the enemy sees you and what they think you're going to do. If they always never know what you're going to do, which is a very Trump thing to do, they're not sure how to proceed. You see, when they knew what you was going to do between 2020 and 2024, i.e. take a nap and eat some ice cream, not going to say no names, a lot of countries got invaded. A lot of stuff happened. A lot of war was going on. Not much to stop it. Now, the thing that stimulated this was Afghanistan and the way the U.S. mishandled Biden mishandled that. I said it. I said his name. And, you know, Trump has been stopping wars. He's been doing the opposite. And what's interesting is when he does make a decision, it is very calculated. Look at Venezuela. Look how calculated that was. Minimized casualties. Minimum damage to things. Did so good. Most Venezuelans were moonwalking up and down the streets of the world all over the planet, dancing, popping, and locking and doing the robot. They were just happy to get rid of Maduro. They was like, hell yeah, tyrant's gone. Let's get back to the money. Yeah. So I know AOC's hurting, but why? Here's the thing. Here's the thing that them bagging on Trump has become a crutch for the party. So much so that they haven't bothered to actually improve on what they do or their policies or improve on how effective they can communicate and what they're actually going to do for the people to convince them not to vote for the orange man. You see, most of the time they spent talking is about Trump, which is almost free advertising because they keep mentioning him and saying things and all these, how dare he and all this, with not really a lot of substance behind how they feel about him. I'm one of those people. They said a lot of crazy stuff, and eventually I just happened to look up a few things they said about him, and I found out that wasn't true. And the more they said, and the more I looked, the more I realized they're playing with me. It was all a game. Politics is a game, I guess, to some degree. But you got to admit, if you're going to be an effective politician with some level of respect, it's got to be based in some level of truth. And it's going to have to be for the greater good at the end of it. And the thing is, AOC, it's not just her, it's the Democratic Party. They lean on, F Trump. We hate Trump. It's all Trump. If they, anytime you notice a Democrat or opposition does wrong, they always bring up Trump. And I think what they fail to realize is that's free advertising. Trump is all about the marketing. Just like when the Supreme Court made that decision, he immediately started talking about how well the administration has done. Started selling himself. Every time y'all throw crap at him, he dodges and just keeps going. And they just don't seem to get it. He's a flawed individual. He's not perfect. But then the way y'all come at him, it makes him more likable. It makes you actually listen to what he's saying and looking at what he's actually doing. And you go, actually, he's doing a lot more that's benefiting more people than the previous administration ever did. Now they did give like 20 grand for student loan debt, but all that did was raise the prices. That's like when you raise minimum wage, all the prices go up with it. Because the issue isn't pay people more. It's what's actually affecting the cost to make it that expensive in the first place. It's really, you got to change the way you do things to really make a difference, not just throw money at it. Throwing that money at situations doesn't work in my personal life. It doesn't work in most situations. There has to be other solutions than just throwing money at it. Money, when it's thrown at a problem, is like a Band-Aid. There's still an underlying problem there. What caused it in the first place? And if Democrats spent more time focusing on that instead of hating Trump, they might actually get somewhere. Just my thoughts. I'm quite sure there'll be some disgruntled detractors, and you know, feel free to comment. I try to find time to read comments. I put out a lot of content, so I'm not ignoring people. It's just whenever I get a chance, I do look. So when I respond, I try my best to respond to comments. Sometimes it's too much. Sometimes people got a lot to say, and I appreciate it. I want to say thank you, even if you disagree with me, because at least you're watching me. At least there's something established there. Y'all take care.